So I've got something a little bit fancy for you today. It's a lamb backstrap. And I know a lot of you would be a little bit worried about cooking it because it's such a lean meat, but I'll show you the quickest, easiest way. And this whole dish will be done in about 20 minutes. All right, some lamb backstrap. We're just gonna salt it, get right in there. In goes a little bit of olive oil just into a hot pan. And while that's heating up, I'm just gonna slice an onion in half. Keep the skin on, that's all fine. We're just gonna char one side of it. So we're charring the cut side, we're gonna get a really nice caramelization on it while we're cooking the lamb. So our pan's really hot, the meat's ready to go in. That's just gonna go straight into the oil. Beautiful sizzle, that's when you know that it's at the right temperature. The onion goes in as well. We're just gonna have it cut side down. The meat only needs about 60 or 90 seconds, so just check on it and see if you can get that really nice caramelization on it and then give it a flick. So while that's happening, I've pre-roasted some cumin and coriander seeds here, so it's just in a really hot pan, dry for like a minute or so, and that just helps all the beautiful oils kind of release and like really get the flavors going. So that's going into a mortar and pestle. So this is basically gonna become the beautiful little crust that sits on the outside of the lamb. We're gonna add some salt to it as well. So you don't want it to be like the ground up powdered spices you get in a packet. You just want a little bit of texture still in it. All right, so that right there is kind of what you want. It's kind of really fine, but at the same time, there's still a little bit of texture in it. So I'm just gonna set him aside. All right, time to turn the lamb. The lamb needs about 60 seconds or maybe another 90 on this side. We're just gonna check it as it goes. We want it to be relatively medium rare because that's kind of perfect for this cut of meat. So the lamb's had about 3 minutes all up now, so I think it's ready to come off. But the reason that I didn't coat the lamb in the spices is I wanted to get this beautiful caramelization on the outside of the lamb, just so the flavor of the lamb actually comes out. If you coat it in the spices as it's cooking, it kind of stops that caramelization from happening. It looks perfect. As you can feel, it's kind of still really soft, but there is a little bit of resistance as well. So that's feeling perfect. Here, the onion is really, really, really dark, but you kind of want that. The inside would just be cooked, but you want that beautiful ring of black on the outside. So when you take them apart as petals, they look really beautiful. So that can come off and it just rests now. Let's get on to our sauce. So as you can see, in the pan, you've got really nice caramelization from the lamb. So we're just gonna deglaze that with a little bit of stock. We're gonna throw in some aromats now, so we're accenting the flavor of the lamb by putting the cumin and the coriander back in, but this is ground cumin and ground coriander straight in. We've got a lemon. We're just gonna juice this guy. Just half will do. All right, so the lemon's gone in with the stock. That's smelling beautiful already. We're just gonna kind of let that reduce to half its kind of size. Won't take very long because the pan is so big. I can really smell the cumin coming through, which is beautiful and exactly what I want. So I'm just actually gonna give it a quick taste. Yum. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Let's go in with a little bit of ouzo. So the reason I'm using ouzo is I want that kind of aniseed flavor to come through in the sauce. So you can either use ouzo or maybe a little bit of absinthe or even Pernod. That would be great too. I've got some beautiful sugar snap peas here and also some frozen peas because I don't really like shelling my own peas. So with the sugar snap peas, what I want to do is just run a knife along the outside of it, but trying to keep the kind of beans intact. So I just want it to kind of open a little bit. How beautiful is that? We're gonna do that to all of them now. We're just gonna quickly blanch the sugar snap peas and the frozen peas, but with a little bit of mint as well. I'm just gonna reserve the tips just for plating a little bit later. So I've got some water that's come to the boil, it's ready to go. In goes my sugar snap pea halves. Now this is gonna be so quick, it'll be 2 minutes all up, just a quick blanch with the mint. So that just helps kind of flavor the peas, because you know, peas, mint, lamb, cumin goes together really, really well. So with the peas and the sugar snap peas, they're just gonna come right out into a bowl. We're gonna throw some butter into the bowl as well, and that just kind of helps flavor the peas because everything is better with butter. So the residual heat coming off the peas is what's gonna actually melt the butter. So that's gonna be really chilled, really easy. A little bit of salt goes in, give him a mix, and just let it set aside and kind of melt and coat the peas. Back to the sauce now. It's reduced down really well. It's probably a third of what it was before. So I think this is the perfect time for the butter to go in. Now, once this is melted, make sure you taste it to see if you need to adjust it, if it needs more acidity, if it needs more salt, or anything like that. You can see now as the butter is melting, it's changing the color of the sauce. It's actually also getting really quite glossy and beautiful. Look, I'm really happy with this consistency of the sauce. I can turn it off now and just let it be. Let it sit there and then move back to the lamb because we can start plating. We're just gonna coat it in the beautiful spices. So I'm just gonna pour this straight onto a little plate. Lamb goes straight on. The onion is really simple. What we're gonna do here is just kind of pull apart these beautiful little petals of onions. So that just comes out like that. And this is basically what we're gonna hold the sauces in. All right, time to plate. Let's start with the lamb. We've got to carve him now. So what I want to do is steal a little piece for myself first. So the flavor that I'm getting from this is definitely that cumin coming through first with a really toasty coriander as well. It's a little bit salty, but a tiny bit gamey as well, which is quite beautiful. The lamb should be quite pink still in the middle, which is beautiful. We're just gonna slice him up into 3, and then we're gonna save this last little extra bit for me. So I've got a beautiful big plate here. We're just gonna go, lamb goes on. Onion petals. We're gonna grab these sugar snap peas and kind of lay them just around. Now, you don't want to be too pedantic about how things fall because it kind of looks really beautiful when it looks like it's just kind of been on the plate naturally. We're almost done. I'm just going to quickly strain the sauce that we've got here. There shouldn't be too much of it because it's reduced heaps by now. And that's going straight into these gorgeous little onion petals. So they are going to hold all of that delicious, flavoursome sauce that we reduced just then. I'm gonna pour a little bit over this piece of lamb as well. Pea sprouts, just gonna rip the top of it off, kind of just layer them on really beautifully. This is just for a little bit of height and to just kind of reintroduce that like flavour of snow peas or sugar snap peas or just green peas back into the dish. And then to finish, a tiny bit of mint, just to kind of reintroduce the fact that the peas were cooked in the mint. Mint lamb, best friends. Really easy, took all of 20 minutes, really achievable at home. You don't have to be scared of it. That there is my cumin coriander crusted lamb.